Let's jump into our waiver wire section. Obviously, this is a little earlier than usual. We're doing this on Thursday. Waivers usually run Sunday for people. So if you're in a daily lineups league, this will be more helpful to you. We don't know what's going to happen with COVID protocols, so keep all of this with a grain of salt. My available in 50% of leagues player that I am highlighting is Chuma Okeke. Draft bust this season in fantasy, but Wendell Carter Jr. suffered a pretty bad leg injury. You got other guys in protocols. Okeke started the past 4 games and has averaged 13, 6, and 4 steals, 1 block, and 2 assists. That's it. I mean, they they are not on a 2-game week, and the Magic have been absolutely decimated by protocols. So that's all I got. But I mean, we saw last season he played well at the end of last year, which is why he was getting drafted this year. And Franz Wagner, it turns out Franz Wagner is actually good, which people weren't expecting, and that led to Okeke not seeing a ton of minutes.
You know, we are listing Carter as possibly back this week.
That's surprising.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I think Bamba. Something happened to Bamba. He's in protocols. But either way, they got a ton of guys in protocols and out.
He's been starting all week, showing what we expected.
Ross That's a good one. Protocols. Hampton's in protocols.
I do worry for Okeke. I worry about his long-term value. I do think he's worth streaming option, especially.
All right, guys, I'm going to move on to my my regular pickup, which is Cameron Johnson of the Phoenix Suns. He's 38% rostered on Yahoo. Last 10 games, he's put up 14.2 points, 5.4 boards, a steal, and 3.1 made three-pointers. He's been an excellent three-point shooter his whole NBA career. Still young. Scored double digits in each of his last 10 games, and the Suns have 4 games next week. Probably going to leave Cameron Johnson on this list. He got an extra boost with some other COVID guys out for the Suns, but Cameron Johnson, a steady scorer off the bench for the Suns.
Yeah, I think that's right. He is not. I think some people are hoping for more production out of him this year than we got last year, but hopefully he's kind of turned a corner here. And he's a fine long-term ad. You know, if you're in a
someday he's beating out Jay Crowder. Someday,
yeah, exactly. Good dynasty league potential guy.
He's. I think he's already exceeded expectations for most of the draft nicks who viewed him as a reach for the Suns at the number 11 pick. He's already, to me, proved that he's better than he was expected to be. So my first pickup suggestion for the week is Larry Nance, starting power forward for the Portland Trail Blazers. You know, Nance is he's about 45 to 50% owned on Yahoo, not owned hardly at all on ESPN, only like 6 or 7% owned on ESPN. You know, he started 6 straight games for the Trailblazers. Nothing too eye-popping with his numbers, but he's playing 30 minutes per, 7.5 points, 8.2 rebounds, 1.7 steals. He's even hitting half a three-pointer, which is okay for him. But it's the rebound and steals that's really where he pops. So if you need those 2 categories, Larry Nance is worth a look. He's just the type of guy who's going to be productive enough in those categories if he's getting 28 to 32 minutes per, where he warrants a look in most formats.
Alex, would you say Larry Nance a good sub for those burned by our Robert Covington advice?
Yeah, both him and Robert Covington are RotoWire favorites. So if you drafted them both with the hopes of at least one of them doing well, I guess you're winning some. Covington's averaging 7 points a game this season and is still ranked 115th. If you're wondering how insane his profile is for fantasy. Okay. All
right, Alex, so take us to your long shot of the week.
My long shot, Isaac Okoro, who should be coming back from COVID protocols shortly after Christmas. So maybe pick him up on Sunday with the hopes that he clears protocols in time for Cleveland's upcoming week, or just keeping him long term. He was playing really well before he landed in protocols, which is unfortunate. Averaging he had put up a couple. Let me see here. I got it here. Past 4 performances, 18.5 points on 70% shooting. Probably won't sustain. But 4 rebounds, 1.5 assists. He's primarily a defender, has been shaky from 3, but it's a good sign that he was hitting a lot of his shots. So he's a long shot for sure. He's coming back from COVID, all that, but he'll play because they don't have a ton of other depth at that guard spot.
Well, he's the one that benefited the most when Colin Sexton went down with the season-ending injury, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, him and Rubio both got a decent amount of run and different kinds of usage, but yeah,
they put Okoro in the starting lineup, which is just pay dividends.
Yeah. Ken, who's your long shot?
Ooh, my long shot is Eric Bledsoe. I'm cheating a little. He's rostered in 28% of Yahoo leagues. Our limit for long shot's supposed to be 25%. But he's back in the starting lineup with Reggie Jackson out. He had a 19.8 rebound, 7 assists game last night in their win over the Kings. And the Clippers have 4 games next week. We've been saying Paul George needs help from others, especially scoring. And I think at least for the next week or two, it's Eric Bledsoe's turn to help out with Clipper points.
We've been burned by Bledsoe before this season, but as long as Reggie Jackson is out, the chances of you getting burned are a lot less. Because like you said, Ken, they need whatever he can give them. Shannon, long shot.
Yeah, my long shot is a name most fantasy players are going to be familiar with. It's Gary Harris for the Orlando Magic. He started about almost 15 games in a row now for the Magic. You see an increased usage and more minutes recently because of all the illness and injuries across their entire roster. But it's kind of like the Okiki suggestion where I think he's a good streaming option. He's not going to blow you away, but he could. He's scoring more right now. He'll get you a few assists, a few rebounds, chip in with steals and 3-pointers while the Magic are shorthanded. So if you're looking for a streaming option for the next week or two, Gary Harris, you can do worse than Gary Harris.
He qualified well for the dull suggestion of the week. He's not.
Who is your dull suggestion of the week?
My dull suggestion is we're going to Argentina for Facundo Campazzo with the Denver Nuggets backup point guard. He is rostered in 13% of Yahoo leagues. It's total category play if you're looking for assists. Last 6 games, he's had 6.3 assists per game, 8.3 points, and 1.3 steals over 26 minutes. So Campazzo is my dull suggestion of the week. Or, go with Gary Harris.